And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk. We're here on Monday nights where we talk all things Brevard College athletics, and very happy you're able to join us this evening as we're going to talk a lot of tennis tonight, and excited to bring in our first guest, head coach of the Brevard College men's and women's tennis programs, Coach Brad Jones. Coach, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, Coach Jones, now in his second season at the helm of the Tornado tennis programs. For those who may not have gotten to know Coach Jones quite yet, he spent 2 seasons at Bethany College in West Virginia before coming to take over the program for the Tornadoes. He's a graduate of Emory and Henry College with a bachelor's and also a master's degree, and was an exceptional student athlete there, earning all conference honors, and really has settled into his role here at Brevard College. Coach, year 2 under your helm, the Tornadoes. Can you kind of sum up your experience as head tennis coach here at Brevard College?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good since I've been on campus. Everybody's been welcoming and stuff like that. Obviously, being a lot closer to home, being from Bristol and about 2 hours away, that's nice. Family can come and watch me coach and stuff like that. But just kind of with all the craziness that's been going on the past year, it's been pretty good here so far at Brevard.
Yeah, and of course, throughout college athletics and in sports throughout the world, everyone dealing with the global pandemic. But I know you all as a tennis program have been able to accomplish a lot this fall. Can you kind of tell folks how the fall has been going for the team?
We have. So we started practice on Labor Day in September, and our fall season is 8 weeks long. So we are actually in our 8th week. And then for us, it was kind of going back to the basics. This was actually a really good time to maybe have a pandemic where we don't have any matches, just because we can we have both teams are young. So it was really nice to be able to kind of dissect everybody's stroke. Each week had a different theme, working on different types of strokes in their games and what they may use and utilize in matches. But like, for example, the first week I got out the video camera and we just recorded everybody's strokes. And then we'll come back to that before the spring and kind of see where everybody is once they get back kind of from winter break and stuff like that.
That's great that you're able to really hone in on some of those, technical, specifics with your student athletes. I was out there earlier today, and one of the things I noticed, you really integrate the men's and the women's team quite a bit. Can you talk a little bit how it's one large unit?
I do. It's kind of something that I wanted to do when I came in, just because, both teams are very close together. They hang out together. They go to dinner after practice together. So, kind of with, being me as the only coach and having only 2 hours really kind of daylight, especially in the springtime, to kind of combine. For me, it allows the kids to interact with one another, but it really just kind of, allows the guys to be able to play against the girls. Some can hit just as hard as the girl or the guys can. Some can't, but that helps the guys kind of play some balls that normally they may not see. So when they do see it in a match, they're not flinging them over the fence and stuff like that. Same thing for the girls. They're able to kind of get that pace, especially my top 2, top 3. That's what they're going to see. So it allows them to be able to see that type of pace in practice before they actually see it in a match.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Now, this weekend, and do want to invite anybody in the area to come on out to Brevard College. Of course, wear your mask, remain socially distant, all those kind of things if you come to spectate a Brevard College athletics event. But a special event for the Tornadoes tennis team on Saturday, which happens to be October 31st, Halloween, 11 a.m. on Saturday, a special Halloween edition of Brevard College Tornadoes tennis inter-squad scrimmage. Can you tell us more, Coach Jones?
It is. So we're calling it our blue and white game, but really there's a blue team and a white team, but everybody's going to be dressed up in costumes. So you really can't kind of distinguish who's who. But I did it kind of a world team tennis format. So, there are singles, regular doubles, and then there's going to be some mixed doubles and also a few matches of mixed singles as well. So it is, again, you're going to have the guys versus the guys, but then you're going to have, the guys and the girls mixed together playing doubles. And then also there's 2 matches of mixed singles in there as well that I specifically put in there at the end, because I think the teams are pretty close, pretty evenly matched up. So I think it's going to kind of come down to those 2 mixed singles matches, which I think it's going to be kind of exciting and, fun to watch.
Well, we're going to get into this quite a bit more when the student athletes are on the program later in the show, but I do want to kind of pick your mind a little more on it, because I did hear you say they're going to wear costumes for the scrimmage.
Yeah.
And my first question is this: Coach, will you be in costume?
I will be in costume, yes.
And are you willing to reveal that costume to us now, or is it a surprise?
I'm coming as a Washington National baseball player.
Okay.
So a year ago on October 30th, they won their first World Series. And so, kind of celebrating that into midnight, rolled over to Halloween. So that's, kind of for the first year kind of their title, that's what I'm going to be. So I'm going to be a Washington Nationals, Max Scherzer, basically, without the 2 different eyes.
Excellent. A classic look for sure. Yeah. Now, from the player perspective, I'd imagine, part of this is you have to wear something that you can be mobile and be able to move your arms around and that kind of thing if you're going to be playing tennis. Do you have any tips for them as they're maybe choosing a costume?
No inflatables, no blow-ups, nothing, kind of that stuff. Make sure you can play in it and breathe and run and stuff like that. So a lot of them said that they have their costume ready to go. I think they're kind of coming in pairs and stuff, which is nice. But yeah, it's just, hey, make sure you can swing a racket and run,
Well, bottom line, it should be a lot of fun on Saturday, 11 a.m. Yes. The scrimmage Halloween edition, the blue-white game, but they're going to be wearing all sorts of colors and costumes and so forth. And, any fans who come out, encourage you to wear your costume as well, a good chance to show off whatever you may be going with this Halloween. So invite folks again, 11 a.m. this Saturday, October 31st at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Coach, we talked a little bit about the men's and women's team and how close they are and how they work together, but I would like to kind of explore the culture of Brevard College tennis even further. Beyond that, just obviously that family atmosphere. Can you kind of give us a little behind the scenes, behind the curtain insight on what it's like to be a Brevard College tennis student athlete, and what are the kind of, things that are ingrained into their culture as a student athlete here?
Yeah, I think coming in, Coach Schreiner, the previous coach, he laid a solid foundation for this program over the past 6 years he was here. So it was easy for me to come in and really say, okay, the foundation's been set. Here's your brick. Let's start building on top of that foundation. And that's kind of what it's been. You have, a lot of them, they come out and they come to practice ready to work to try to be the best player they were, the day before and for that day, but also just coming in and working, because tennis is a sport that you can't hide on the field or anywhere. Either you got it or you don't. So it's really just kind of them understanding that, you come into practice, but it's really what you do before and after practice when things aren't going right and you don't like the way they went for, yourself that day or whatever, stay 15 minutes, stay 30 minutes, come, an hour before practice the next day, because that does help. And it's really just for this team, being, especially on the guys being so young and with only having 3 seniors on the women's team, it's just playing a lot of points, getting out there and just spending some time on the court, playing sets and really getting that experience of really playing actual matches. Because, obviously we didn't get all the way finished with our spring season last year. And then with our fall season, not being able to happen, it's really just getting out there and playing a lot of sets and getting ready to play for the spring.
Excellent. And Division III, you have a lot of experience in Division III, Coach Jones, at your previous stops. Can you talk about that a little bit? How that experience is completely different than the other levels of college athletics.
Yeah, the first thing I tell kids and even recruits is you're a student before you're an athlete. So that comes first and foremost. Also, you get to have the 3 aspects of college. You get to have the athletic, obviously the academics is there, and then also that there's a social side that I think that really allows kids to come together, especially in a small community like Brevard, to come together and really hang out with people outside of the tennis team and your normal groups and stuff like that. But really, it's being able to have that extra time, for class, for that social aspect, but also being able to come in and practice. And if you can't practice, not a problem. I'll see you tomorrow. Or if you can come and hit earlier in the day, then that works too. It's basically I want you at practice, but obviously if there's academics in the way or kind of an extracurricular activity that's going on, then it's just it's your responsibility to come and hit with me or hit with somebody on the team. If not, I'll see you tomorrow.
We'll have two examples later on the show, Sarah Iocovozzi and also Miles Schafer. Sarah recently starred in Brevard College's production of Little Shop of Horrors as the female lead, a huge endeavor for her to get prepared for that production and then ultimately to perform in what was a drive-in performance. And then Miles Schafer is a member of the Brevard College men's soccer team. So he's juggling two sports. Can you talk about those two in particular and, sort of how you're flexible with your counterparts, whether it be the folks in the theater department or the soccer coaches?
Yeah. Obviously with Sarah, she didn't even come into for tennis. She just kind of showed up, kind of watching another member on the team hit. And I was like, hey, I got a racket in there if you want it. And she's like, yeah, I left mine at home. And I looked at it, I said, you play? She's like, yeah, I played, in high school. I said, yep, come on, you're coming out there. So, and she just picked it up and she loved it. And then, with Miles, we twisted his arm a little bit just because, we needed a few more bodies in the spring. But again, for those two, it's just, let me know when you have time. If you can't make it, not a problem. But if you do have some time during the day, let me know. I will come out and hit with you, which both of them during their season or their productions, they both did that. Miles was still able to come to practice. There's 2 days a week that they don't have soccer, so that's nice. Which is during our doubles day, so that's really nice. But really just kind of having that free time in between classes or on that Wednesday when there really isn't a lot of classes to come and hit and really work on your stroke or work on something that you don't feel like is necessarily there that should be there.
Sarah in particular, just a great example of, kind of that D3 model, where she was able to really chase, her passions, whether it be tennis or acting, and it had all kind of paid off last month with the Little Shop of Horrors. Was the team really excited that she was performing in that production?
They were. I think the majority of them, they went to the production and saw it and stuff like that. So it's really nice to see that excitement, but also to have them go and support her and also, the other student athletes that were in the production as well, because it's not easy to juggle. That's a lot of stuff to juggle, especially, with, athletics and their major and school and, that production. That's a lot in a small span.
Yeah, Sarah played the female lead, men's soccer student athlete, Scott Douglas, the male lead. If you go to the Brevard College Tornado Athletics social media pages, you'll be able to find the clip. WLOS did a nice piece on the two of them and how they were juggling, exactly what we're talking about, athletics and also their other passions. Well, Coach, the McCoy Tennis Complex, I would like folks to, realize just how exceptional of a venue we have here at Brevard College for Division III tennis. One of the best for a college our size in the country, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. There's not too many places you go where you see 12 courts, especially 12 courts laid out like we have them. They're split up, there's 6 sections of 2 courts apiece, and they are country club size courts, which means in between the courts, there's a lot of space. So if you get a wide ball, you're not running on the other person's court. And then also the distance between the fence and the baseline in the back, that gives you a little bit more room. So you're not, banging your back or your racket against the fence trying to go for a ball. But no, I mean, very blessed into what we've been able to have here, with the donor coming in, building the courts, building the facility, having a building with 2 locker rooms, kind of a player's lounge, and, with my office and stuff like that. So you don't see that very often, especially the number of courts that we have at our facility. And really just, letting the kids know kind of, and I think when we travel to other schools, they definitely see that of how other schools are set up and laid out, and really the courts itself, how nice and well maintained they are here and kept up and everything like that. So I think that's, I think when they come back, they have a little bit more appreciation of where they call home.
In 12 courts, that allows for men's and women's matches to go on simultaneously when you're hosting a dual match. Can you kind of talk about how that works logistically?
Yeah. So what I do is I think before I came, the guys would play on the front 6 set of courts, and the girls would play on the back set of courts. And then every match they would kind of flip flop. So what I did, I kind of took, okay, they already hang out together. They practice together. Let's just intertwine them together. So what I did was I put all the ones together, men's and women's, the 2 seeds together, the 3 seeds, the 4 seeds, the 5 seeds, and the 6 seeds. So the person beside you is the same ranking that you are, but on the female side or the men's side. So that allows everybody to kind of intertwine and be able to cheer for one another. Not only just, if a female player cheering on the women's team, but also, a female player cheering on the men's team and stuff like that. Everybody's there together. And also it helps me to keep everything kind of in order and lined up as I bounce around from court to court and stuff like that. It keeps, everything together in my head on match day.
Yeah, and I would say it enhances the spectator experience as well, kind of following along what's going on with all the matches and, with the team score as well. And speaking of which, Brevard College has an exceptional community support of the Brevard College tennis programs. On any given match day, you see members of the community coming out and enjoying the McCoy Tennis Complex and the student athletes in action. Can you speak on that group and just how fortunate we are to have that kind of support?
Yeah, kind of hitting back, kind of where touching with the Vandergrifts. I mean, with what they allow us to do and come in and the upkeep of this facility and allow us to kind of go over there in the indoors or over to the hard courts or the clay courts over there. But also the community members that come over, we've had a couple come during practice and kind of talk to the team, hit a little bit with the team. They take a few of the team members over to the club in season. And then on match day, you have some of the members bringing food for us. They, donate, money so we can get sweatshirts, sweatpants and stuff like that. But, I think that's the biggest thing is, not only our facility, but also the support that we have from a pretty good sized tennis community in Brevard and the surrounding area. You don't get that at a lot of too many Division III schools you go to, or really even Division II, Division I schools.
And you mentioned the Brevard Racket Club. Can you tell folks a little more just how our student athletes are able to enjoy those benefits?
Yeah, so we do have a few members on the team that are tennis members at the Racket Club. So they do go over and do the men's night and stuff like that. But we go over there kind of in the evenings. They have kind of a off court time or off period time where the courts really aren't in use. So they allow the kids to go over there, and especially if, there's a member from, that's a club member or whatever, go over there to be able to utilize those empty courts I think it's between like 8 and 10 in the evenings and stuff like that.
All right, Coach Jones. Well, we're about to bring in our student athlete guest, and we'll invite them in as they will join us here at Tornado Talk. And here they come rolling in, just rapid fire. Jen Cox, JaMarcus Walker, Sarah Iocovozzi, Miles Schafer, We have Ethan McGee in the house. Brooke Garland. They're all here, Coach. Before we let you off the hook and release you from this program, Coach Jones, anything you'd like to say to this group, or tell our audience first about this group, maybe just how proud you are of them.
Yeah, no, I mean, this group, they're very young, besides Miss Jen, she's a senior. But, they all come out and they work hard. I mean, they understand kind of what it takes to be able to play at this level, even though it's Division III. It's tough to win at any level. So kind of the amount of and to be able to come in and deal with me on some days where, I've kind of had maybe too many cups of coffee, and kind of deal with my madness and my craziness that goes in my head with practices and stuff. But no, great group of kids. And, it's, can't really say much about bad things about them. Just, it's really glad to have them on my side, and looking forward to what the future holds, down the road.
All right. Very good, Coach. Well, we will let you go unless one of the student athletes wants to say something real quick to Coach Jones in this, forum here. Go for it, Jen.
Hi, Coach.
What's up? Good. Hopefully y'all got dinner and a shower and stuff. That's nice.
Thanks for the nice words, Coach.
Yep. Awesome. All right.
All right. We'll let you go, Coach. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
All right. Go Tornadoes. All right, folks. Well, we kind of covered all the formal stuff with Coach Jones, so we're going to have a lot of fun with you all. And first, I just want to introduce folks a little bit more who all is on the screen here with us. First, a senior from West Islip, New York, West Islip High School, Jen Cox. Jen, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
We've also got JaMarcus Walker. He's a sophomore from Seneca, South Carolina, Seneca High School. Sophomore now. JaMarcus Walker, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
In the top right corner is Sarah Iocovozzi. She's a sophomore from Savannah, Georgia, Savannah Arts Academy. Sarah, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
In the bottom left corner, Brooke Garland, sophomore from Canton High School, Pisgah High School in Canton, North Carolina. Brooke, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Ethan McGee is in the bottom middle position, the sophomore from Salisbury, North Carolina, East Rowan High School. Ethan, glad you made the show tonight.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
All right, and our final guest, Miles Schafer, fresh off the soccer field, sophomore, Greenville, South Carolina, J.L. Mann High School. Miles, thanks for joining the show. All right, guys, one little housekeeping item. We are experiencing a little bit of feedback, so I'm going to ask that you use your mute button unless you're actually talking. You should be able to find that on your screen there. Thank you very much. And so let's get started. This weekend is what's going to be a fun event for Brevard College tennis and the Brevard College community. It's the inter-squad scrimmage, the blue-white game, but it's also the Halloween edition. Jen, I'll let you get us started. You guys excited about this event on Saturday?
Yeah, I think we're all pretty excited. It's our first match of the fall season, and we haven't really gotten to play with a lot of other people, so I think we're all excited, and I think everybody has costumes, and so we're all I think we're coordinating, some of us, so...
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what I want to really dive into here, because I talked to Coach about this, and, you're going to be playing tennis in a costume. So there's some other considerations here. You're not just, going to a Halloween party. You have to play tennis in whatever you choose to be your costume. It's okay if you don't want to reveal your costume, if you want it to be a surprise on Saturday. And it's also okay if you haven't figured it out yet. But I do want to go around the horn and ask each of you what your costume we can expect, so we know who we're cheering for and looking at also. So Jen, do you have a Halloween costume picked out?
Yes, I'm with Sarah and Lily. We're doing a group costume. I'm being Rachel from Friends on the Thanksgiving episode. So
very good. JaMarcus, what you got for us?
I'm going to have to keep my costume a secret for right now. So it'll be worth the wait.
Sarah, it sounds like you're part of this group endeavor, but can you expand a little more on that theme?
Yes, I will be Phoebe Buffet from Friends, and we're doing it from the iconic episode. It's like the Thanksgiving episode where they all play football outside. It's really funny, and Miles is also going to be in it. Part of it.
So Miles, we'll let you kind of take it from here. Have you thought this through, or did they just kind of tell you, hey, you're going to be doing this thing with us?
Well, I didn't know what to be, and I was talking to Sarah, and they said they were going to be people from Friends, and I like the show, and I got a pretty good outfit for Chandler Bing.
Very nice. Ethan McGee, you got something for us for Saturday?
Yeah, so I'm going to be with JaMarcus and Brooke, and I was told to keep them down low, so it's going to be a surprise also.
Well, Brooke took your advice so seriously, she jumped off the stream. She didn't want to reveal any of those secrets. We'll see if we can get her back on. But it's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure, guys, to not only celebrate Halloween, but get to showcase, what you guys have been doing on the court and that sort of thing, and get those competitive juices flowing a bit. There she is, Brooke.
I think the Wi-Fi went out.
Well, we thought you were just keeping the Halloween costume an absolute secret, that you didn't even,
I am.
You've got your poker face on. Can you give us any sort of hint?
It involves Jimmy and Ethan and JaMarcus. So that's all I can say.
All right, so we'll be looking for that trio. Now, how about on the court, Brooke? Can you kind of tell us a little bit, what you've been working on this fall as far as your game goes? And, I'm sure some of that will culminate on Saturday when you guys take on this scrimmage.
I think just kind of what Coach Jones touched on. I mean, it was a good time to go back and kind of learn the basics. Where I'm from, they don't really play tennis around there much, so I learned to play tennis by hitting a tennis ball off of a tee with the hammer. So that was just it was kind of good to go back and learn the more technical side of it.
And Ethan, how about yourself? This fall, are there finer points? And feel free to get as technical as you like that you've been working on as far as your game goes this fall.
Yeah. So I think I've been working on my serve more. I completely changed it up. I have been for the past however many years I've been playing tennis. It's always changing. Kind of correcting my ground strokes mostly. Just finishing touches. So that's about it.
Very good. And Miles, you've been juggling an ambitious fall practice session for the soccer team. You guys have been scrimmaging every Saturday. And I mean, we're talking full 90-minute scrimmages. And then, you even sometimes add on a second scrimmage, I've noticed with the reserves team. So you're logging some serious minutes on the soccer field, but also juggling it with keeping your tennis game sharp. Can you talk about how you've been managing all that?
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot, playing scrimmages every single Saturday, and then so we have soccer 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays I play tennis with the team, and then on the days that I can't, I practice individually with the coach, and I just I'm pretty much booked up every single day, and like practicing twice a week sometimes. So it's definitely been very challenging this fall, but I've liked doing it, so it's worked out well.
We're going to get into some of the extracurricular stuff and the things you guys do around campus even more, but I want to stick on the tennis court for now. Sarah, can you kind of tell us, this fall, I know you've been juggling a lot also, but, specifically on the tennis side of things, have you been able to experience some growth and, notice some things about your game that have been improving?
Yeah, basically kind of going off of what Brooke and Ethan said, just, figuring out the basics, getting that down, nailing it down. And then one thing I've been really trying to nail down is a good first serve, which is always good thing to have in a match. So that's one of the main things I'm working on. And also, my backhand, I want to do a one-hand backhand. It's like what I'm working on too. But just, making my technique stronger and learning more techniques and styles that I can use.
And JaMarcus, now in your second season as a member of the Brevard College tennis program, do things feel different now that you're a sophomore and, you feel more confident on the court?
Yeah, honestly, last year was just the stepping stone for me, and now I'm getting the feel of playing D3 tennis, and it's just a great experience to have.
And Jen Cox, senior, so you've experienced quite a bit, and it's all kind of culminating now. When you reflect back on your career as a tennis student athlete, what pops into your head as far as the best memories or the things that are most meaningful to you?
I mean, definitely practices. There's a lot of fun that we get to have. So certain practices just stand out. And then there'll be like certain matches, like we went to Florida for spring break, and for when we were there, we all just became really close. And then unfortunately we got shut down as the whole team was like becoming just like one huge family. And that's how the team has been for the last 3 or 4 years. It's just been one big family. It's really cool.
Yeah, I would like to add to that a little bit, because you all last spring got to go to Orlando, to play a number of college teams from throughout the country, but also got to experience the National Training Center for the USTA in Orlando, which is just a spectacular facility. I see all you guys nodding your head. JaMarcus, what'd you think of that facility?
It was amazing. Honestly, I've never seen a facility like tennis-wise that nice, and it was just a great experience to get to go there and just think about all the other players who've trained there, and playing on the courts actually made me feel like I was like a professional tennis player out there. So it was very nice.
Anyone else like to add to that as far as their memories of that USTA complex?
Yeah, I'll go for it. I think, it was an awesome time there, and I've been looking to go there for so long. I mean, I've heard it in the news, seen it in YouTube videos, stuff like that, but I was really looking forward to it when I heard we were going there. So, and we had a great time.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy you guys got to experience that last spring. No doubt about it. Last one on the tennis side of things. And if no one pops in your head, no problem. You can pass it on to the next one. But I'm always curious, who your influences might be on the professional side of things. When we're talking about like the big stars of tennis, the ones we see on television at Wimbledon and the French Open and the US Open and the Australian Open, the big guns. Tell me who your favorite tennis player in the world is, and maybe a reason why. Jen, can you get us started?
I'd say Serena Williams. I mean, obviously she's an insane player, but I've grown up watching her, and seeing her game develop also like pushes me a little bit to develop my game, because I know at her level, if she's still developing, I can develop even more at my level.
Great choice. No doubt about it. JaMarcus?
I've recently became a big Francis Tiafoe fan. I like the way he hits his forehand and backhands, and he's very quick, and he's a young rising player. So hopefully one day he'll be able to compete with the big three.
Very good. You just gave us somebody to kind of keep an eye out for. Appreciate that, JaMarcus.
Yeah.
Sarah, you've got a favorite tennis player on the circuit?
I can think of two. Of course, Nadal's one of my favorite. Love watching him play. And then also Naomi. She is so young, and she's just an inspiration to a bunch of young, striving tennis players. So she's so fun to watch, and her win at the US Open was, I think, inspirational. It was awesome.
Very cool. Miles, you got a favorite player, someone you've maybe patterned your game after?
Yeah, so like I've just recently started watching like a lot of tennis, and I really love watching Rafael Nadal. Like I just like his like speed and athleticism, and I kind of just try and model, and like I see a lot of myself in like that game, and I really like watching him play.
the king of the clay court, Rafael Nadal. Ethan McGee, you got one for us?
Yeah, I got two people actually, and they're both just coming out of college. One, so JJ Wolf from Ohio State, American player, and also Mackenzie McDonald from UCLA. And I really look up to those two because I love their play style, and they're doing good in like the past U.S. Open. JJ Wolf making it to the third round, but getting shut down to the guy who made it to the finals, Medvedev. And Mackenzie, I've been watching him ever since like high school in class. So he's been a great player, both those players.
Great stuff. Just like JaMarcus, you gave us a couple more to kind of keep the radar up on. Brooke, you have a favorite all-time tennis player?
I do.
Oops, I think we lost Brooke again. We'll give her a chance to answer that a little later. Would like to go off the tennis court now and get to know each of you a little better. Let's start with the academic side of things. Tell me what your major is, what your goals with that major may be after graduating from Brevard College, and give us a shout out as far as, perhaps a favorite class or teacher that you've had while you're here at Brevard. Jen, you're up.
Okay, so I'm an art major. I have with a concentration in photography and time-based media, which is cinematography and digital media. Oh gosh. After I'm done here, I'm either going to go back to New York and work at a photo studio there for a little bit, or I'm going to go towards the coast of Carolina and work at a studio there. Not really sure where I'm going to go. Depends on what happens with, the whole pandemic thing. Definitely a couple of my favorite classes weren't like specific digital media classes. I had a sculpture class with Kyle Lusk, and that was really fun. And then some like the environmental issues classes were really fun here. Just like a lot of things about this college. Gave a lot of opportunities for a lot of different things.
Very good. And Jen, an art piece of yours was recently featured in a exhibit at here at Brevard College called Separation. Can you tell us about that?
So that was for my carving and construction class. We were assigned that project right before spring break, and so once we got sent home and everything, I actually brought that sculpture home with me, and I was able to work on it throughout the whole pandemic. I was able to do. One second, I'm being past my laptop charger. It's about to die. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I was able to work on it a lot, and it was kind of like a stress relieving piece, I'd say, because I would take a chisel and a hammer and I would just smack at the project. I would do it for hours. I would paint it. I would sand it. I would just change it however I wanted because I didn't really have a deadline on it because everything ended. Oh, there's Brooke.
Very good. Brooke, appreciate the resourcefulness. Jen, is the piece still on exhibit? Do folks have a chance to see that still?
Yes. It's on until October 29th. I have two pieces out in there, actually. It's the sculpture, and then I also have a photograph that's in there.
Very good. Great stuff, and great to see how you're, mixing the arts with also, your career as a student athlete. Brooke, we want to give you a chance to answer that last question about your favorite tennis player all time. Did you have an answer for us?
I have a lot of favorites, but I'd probably have to say Ash Barty. I think she's the world number one right now. But I just like her attitude. That's the big thing for me when I watch people. And I got the chance to see her at the Fed Cup in 2019, when it came to Asheville. So that was cool.
Very cool. And while we have you, Brooke, tell us what your major is and what your goals are here at Brevard College academically.
I'm majoring in exercise science, BS, and I want to be a physical therapist, so going to physical therapy school after Brevard.
Very good. JaMarcus, can you fill us in on your academics?
I am currently a business major, and right now, as a sophomore, I'm still focused on my major, but I'm trying to learn as much as I can from the athletic department here at Brevard College, like from Stephanie Johnson and Miranda Nash, just basically soaking in everything they can tell me so I can one day have a job like theirs.
Very good. I've got sights on that sports business. I've already seen you in action, JaMarcus, and you're well on your way. Sarah, fill us in on your academics, please.
So far, I am an integrated studies major with a business and theater and a minor in the Willie program. So it's a whole bunch of stuff, and I love every part of it. I love doing theater, obviously, and then including business factor into it because I want to branch into those two together. And then doing the Willie stuff, canoeing, rock climbing, all of this. It's like a fun day every day with all these mixed together. I'm still figuring out what I want to do with all of them, but yeah, I'm still figuring it all out.
Well, and you starred in Little Shop of Horrors as the lead female part a few weeks back. It was a drive-in production at the Brevard Music Center, just a wonderful production, but a ton of work went into that, no doubt about it. Can you talk about that a bit, how you juggled it with also, being a tennis student athlete and, your other classroom requirements, and then also just how gratifying it was to pull it all off?
Yeah, no, definitely doing a sport and doing something like theater at the same time, it's definitely stressful and you want to be really good at time management. So I was definitely caught myself super stressed at times, but luckily the staff here is so welcoming and they want to make sure you are fine and not doing too much or stressing yourself out. So I was able to talk to all my teachers and Coach Jones. He was very happy to work with me after rehearsals or before rehearsals. Same as my director, she understood that I also had to do tennis. So everyone was very allowing me to do the best I could and then do the show, and it was an amazing experience. And I'm so thankful to have such a loving staff and team to allow me to do this while not being at practice all the time. They're like, we totally understand, go do you. And it was an awesome experience.
The actual show 4 nights in a row, correct? At the Brevard Music Center, Little Shop of Horrors, a unique setting, you all being outdoors, in this current environment that we're dealing with, but you guys pulled it off. Tell us how it felt on Sunday night when it all wrapped up.
Oh, well, it was emotional for everyone, especially for our seniors. It was their last show and them having to do it in these given circumstances. We just had to give it our all. And for them mainly, it was all for them. And the last show was it was chilling. It was everyone was so loud and it was the feeling on stage and everyone just cheering for you and coming to see you and everyone. It's the best feeling ever. It's awesome. And the fact that it was a drive-in, it was my first, I had never even been to a drive-in. So just being in one was totally new to me, but it was an awesome experience. And I'm excited to tell my kids in the future that I was in the show in this pandemic in a drive-in. So
yeah. So congratulations on that, Sarah. Also, your co-star who was also a student athlete, Scott Douglas from the men's soccer team. Congratulations to him. And I want to give a shout out to that technical staff there also for pulling that off in the outdoor drive-in setting. It was old fashioned where you would set your car radio to the FM frequency to get to listen in. And, and I know a lot of your teammates were from the tennis team were supporting you along the way. So congrats again, Sarah.
Thank you.
Miles, well, we talked about it a little before. You're juggling quite a bit with the 2 sports, but can you tell us on the academic side what you're focused on?
Yeah, so I've flip-flopped majors a few times, but I think I'm about to declare a social science major. What I'm going to do after that, I'm not entirely sure, still figuring stuff out and still juggling stuff, but we'll see what happens. I'm not too sure what's going to happen at the after graduation.
Well, you've still got a little bit of time to sort all that out. So no rush, Miles. No doubt about it. Keep doing what you're doing. Ethan, can you tell us what you're up to in the classroom?
Yeah, I'm also undeclared, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be for my major, it's going to be exercise science, like Brooks. Afterwards, probably just going to head back home, just look at my options. Not too much after that. I just gotta look at my options. That's all.
Sounds good. Well, guys, before I let you go, I want to give you each the opportunity to give a shout out, give a thank you to somebody, give just a message to NATO Nation. Each of you, the floor is yours. We'll get started with the senior, Jen Cox.
I want to say hi to my mom and dad because I know they're watching right now. And I hope everybody can come out on Saturday and, watch us play our only match of the fall season. Thank you for letting us on here. It's been great.
Jen,
Yeah.
one quick thing. I'd be remiss not to mention this. Am I seeing the backdrop behind you correctly as the skyline of New York City?
Yes.
You're a New Yorker here at Brevard College in Brevard, North Carolina. There's not too many of y'all. In fact, most people don't call y'all up there. Can you talk about that a little bit? Just how cool this experience has been being in the mountains of North Carolina, but your roots in New York.
It's honestly crazy. And every time I tell people I'm from New York, they're like, okay, so why are you here? Because the mountains is just completely different. I'm used to the beach, and the beach is nice, but you don't get the colors of the leaves. You don't get the different, you don't get Blue Ridge Parkway. You don't get all these amazing sights. They're all amazing, but they're different. And sometimes you just need to change things up. And I've know at least one or two other people from Long Island. I don't know how many other people are here from Long Island, but it's working out. We're kind of finding each other at some points in times.
I see an emerging, pipeline getting started, perhaps between Long Island and Brevard, North Carolina. Jen, thanks for joining the show. Great to see you on here.
Thank you.
Brooke, Garland, do you have a final message, a shout out, a thank you?
I just want to say thanks to my family, obviously. Thanks to JaMarcus for letting me come crash his session here. And Coach Jones and Jimmy, I think they both kind of go overlooked sometimes. And then the team, because everybody brings so many different aspects, and it's what makes it so great.
Very good. Volunteer assistant coach Jimmy Wynn. We do want to recognize him and all his contributions to the program as well. JaMarcus, shout outs, thank yous. The floor is yours.
I want to shout out my family that's watching, because I know some of them are watching. And also, I just want to say, make sure you come out and watch us play this Saturday, because you never know when the next time we will be playing. One more shout out. I want to shout out fellow teammate Andrew Ingram for watching us and commenting down below. So thank you, Andrew, for watching us.
Very good. Sarah, the floor is yours.
I want to give a shout out to my parents, Helen and Kim, back in Savannah. I know they're watching right now. I love you guys, and my other entire family, but especially you two. And my team, I love you guys, Coach Jones, Jimmy, and I hope everyone can make it out to the match because it's our first match, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to be in costumes, so you don't want to miss it.
Very good. Thank you, Sarah. Miles, shout outs, thank yous?
Shout out to my parents. I don't think they're watching, but and then shout out to Coach L, the soccer coach, Juan Mascaro, and Jones and Jimmy.
Very good. Well, the good news, Miles, is this program is available via replay, whether on Facebook or YouTube. So maybe they can catch up after the fact. Ethan McGee, as the comments are just starting to roll in for you guys in the meantime. Ethan McGee, what you got for us?
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Coach Jones and Jimmy. They've been a big help through this fall season, and come and see us this Saturday. That's all. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be
no doubt. Very good. Jen, Brooke, JaMarcus, Sarah, Miles, Ethan. These are student athletes on the Brevard College men's and women's tennis teams. And come on out this Saturday, 11 a.m. at the McCoy Tennis Complex. You'll get to see these student athletes in action, not only in action on the tennis court, they're going to be in costume. That's right. This Saturday's October 31st, Halloween. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, and a lot of fun at the same time. So come on out and support these student athletes for the inter-squad scrimmage on Saturday, and check it all out as they'll be playing in costume. Well, want to thank you for joining the show. Be sure to follow the Tornadoes on social media, Instagram and Twitter at BC Tornadoes, Facebook and YouTube, Brevard College Tornado Athletics. You can also check out the SoundCloud page if you prefer the audio format, as the messages keep on rolling in for you all. Well, thanks again for joining the show. Thank you, Jen, JaMarcus, Brooke, Sarah, Miles, Ethan, also Coach Brad Jones and Jimmy Wynn. We'll see you at the next edition of Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes.
Thank you.